for Bestie Wednesday! Hey besties, it's Brianalynn and welcome to video number 2 of the face series. As you may notice, my makeup is done, but something's missing. What could it be? Hello, it's definitely these brows. So if you don't know already, today's video is going to be about our eyebrows. I'm going to show you the 2 things that I usually use for my brows and how to apply them. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So let me start off by saying that there is no correct way to do your brows. There is no correct shape, but I will tell you there is symmetry according to everyone's face. So I'm going to show you that first. That way you know, I'm going to put it out there and then you can use it as you please. You don't have to, but I'm just letting you know, girl, so that you can get symmetry on your face and you don't have your brows looking a little crazy. So to start, I'm just going to be taking the end of my brush and I'm going to show you guys what I mean by symmetry. So your eyebrow should start right here at this point. If you are to put the brush on the ball of your nose and have it go straight up, you will see where your eyebrow should start. So of course, my eyebrow should start right here. As you can tell, I definitely have some sparse areas. This happens by going in too far when I clean my eyebrows, but you know, it's also personal preference. Some people like to have their eyebrows start right here at the inner corner of their eye. For your arch, you are going to want to put it on the ball of your nose once again, and it's going to cross your eyeball. So you see how it's going, like it's splitting in between my pupil, and that is where your arch should be. So my arch is actually, you know, it's dead on. So that is where I usually tend to put my arch, just because it's naturally there anyways. But for you girls or boys that don't have an arch, or your eyebrows are so thin, or maybe you've shaved them off halfway, you know, just for your information, that is typically where your arch should start. Now, where should your brow end? Because I have been guilty of having my brows be long, run-on sentences on my face. So just for your information once again, and to keep you looking cute, you're gonna put your pencil or your brush or whatever you have on the ball of your nose, and right at the ending of your eye is where your brow should stop. Okay, sometimes my brows be all the way right here and I have to go in and cut them off and clean them up because it's too long. So taking some of that foundation off, I'm going to use a Q-tip and my micellar water, and I'm just going to run the Q-tip and micellar water over them lightly just to remove any foundation or powder that I applied while doing my makeup. Okay, so there's usually 2 different products that I gravitate to when I'm doing my eyebrows, and one is a pencil and 2 is a pomade. Sometimes I use a combination of both of them, but more than likely it's either a pencil or a pomade, you know, just depending on how I feel that morning, if I'm in a rush, if I have time to actually sit down and do my makeup. Those are definitely factors to consider when you're picking your product, and we're going to go into this more in this video, so keep watching. This eyebrow I'm going to have be my pencil product, and this eyebrow I'm going to have be my pomade. And you're going to see exactly what I mean by different factors determining what product you're going to use, because boy, whew, when I'm in a rush, that pencil is a miracle. And when I have time to do my makeup, I'm talking like at least 2 hours or so, pomade will have your eyebrows looking like you are fresh born, never waxed, never plucked. That pomade will have you right. So to start with, let's go ahead and talk about pencils. My personal fave, because it's affordable and it's super easy to get and it's very good quality, is definitely the ColourPop pencil. And this is the Precision Brow Pencil. They do have one that's, I believe it's like the Precision Boss Brow Pencil or something like that. I had ordered that one on mistake one time, and that one's actually a lot fatter than this one. Sadly, I'm going to show you guys this, but I'm like out of this product. There's nothing in here, and I haven't been able to order replacements because of the whole COVID. They've been out. So I am still needing to order replacements, but this is typically the pencil that I use. the most. It is in the color black and brown, or I did used to use the black one, but I will tell you the black one is pretty dark. So my hair is also pretty dark, but I like to go at least a shade below what my color is. That way it doesn't look so unnatural on the face. Depending on your pressure and how you apply it, the color will be great if you have dark hair. So this is a pencil I highly recommend, but sadly for today I won't be able to use it because I am out of it. There's literally no product left in here. You are considering what pencil to buy. This is from e.l.f. It's the Instant Lift Brow Pencil. So this one is pretty fat. If you are someone that has thicker brows and you don't need as much product, you just have a couple sparse areas, a fatter pencil is definitely something that you want to reach for versus a skinnier pencil like this. Only because, you know, using a fatter pencil, it's going to take less time, and plus if you have full brows, you don't really need that much coverage. Versus me, as you can tell, my brows are pretty thin. I like them a little darker, so I go for the micro pencil. Another thing about using a fatter pencil is that the control of it is going to be a little less than a micro pencil. Being that the tip is so fat, you don't have as much control when you're putting it and applying it on your eyebrows. So one of my second faves to use, but I don't really use this all the time unless I'm going out or a special event or something like that, just because it is on the higher end, and I typically do my eyebrows every single day along with my makeup. So having the ColourPop pencil be a stand-in for the Anastasia one definitely helps me to save money. Okay, I'm about saving money, coupons, all that. So in the Anastasia one, I do use the color Ebony, and this one is similar to the ColourPop one. I mean, of course, you know, mechanically, this one's a lot smoother when you push it up versus the ColourPop one, but overall, they pretty much do the same job. So for today's video, I am going to be using the Anastasia one just to show you guys, you know, how I do it. So to start, I'm going to take the spoolie end of the brush and begin to brush the hairs upward. So my eyebrows tend to be just like my eyelashes. They like to just be straight, and they like to go straight to the side. So brushing them up helps to stand up the hair, and that can also help your brows look a lot fuller. So now you can see where I need to apply the product. So I like to start first by drawing a line on the bottom. And when you're drawing these lines, you want to do it in small, short strokes. Do not try to go in and draw the bottom line in one stroke because it's going to look crazy. So take your time, small, short strokes. And then once you're done with the bottom line, you're going to go ahead and draw a line on top as well. So now you can tell that I definitely have a clear, drawn out outline of my brow. So now it's just a matter of going in and filling it in wherever you can tell it's sparse. So when you're doing this, you also want to use a light hand. Do not go in there with heavy pressure because you are going to create a mess. So right now I'm just focusing the product mainly on top of that arch area. I'm not touching the beginning of my brow at all. We're going to do that part last. And now I'm going to go in the beginning of my brow and show you guys how I do that to get a nice feathered look. What I'm going to do is that line on the bottom, I'm going to brush it up. So that way the product is going to be moving upward and your eyebrow is going to basically fill in itself without us even touching any more product to that beginning. By doing that, you can definitely tell how I gave it a nice feathered look in the front. That way it's not so dark going all the way through. Your eyebrow should definitely look like it's ombre, an ombre effect. So you want it to be lighter here in the front and gradually get darker as you go to the tail area. If you happen to mess up, which I always do, especially when I'm in a rush, and by mess up, I mean I made it too thick or applied too much product on there. That is the purpose of cleaning up our brows. If anything, the most important step in doing your brows is cleaning them up. This helps them to look nice and crisp and very, very sharp. Okay? So to clean out my brows, I'm going to be using the Fenty Matchstick in Caramel. This is pretty much a flesh tone color for me right now, so I'm going to be using that. I typically like to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is in the shade Medium Peach. However, and whatever effect you want is going to depend on the color and the shade of concealer. So this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer will give me more of a brightening effect on my brows, which also lifts them. By using a flesh tone, it's pretty much just blending in my eyebrows as they are. A flesh tone will not give me any added effect or any brightness to the area. So being that I already did my makeup, I'm going to just be using the flesh tone to clean it up. Typically, I would do my eyebrows first, but for today's video, you know, I wanted to look cute. Taking the product directly on that brush, and I'm going to start by going under my brow to clean it up. It's already looking super clean, super crisp. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the top area. So this can be tricky. If you go in too deep, you're going to risk taking off the product you just put, which is okay if it happens because you can just go back in and add it again. All you're doing is you're going and carving it out and just outlining. So when you're doing the top, now it's also going to be the time, if you made them too thick, you'll be able to remove some of that product on top and thin them out. So for the most part, my brow is now done. You can either leave it like this, or you can also do this final optional step. And for me, this is like my #1 secret. I always get asked, how do you get your brows to look so natural? And what do you use to fill them in? Well, it's not what I use to fill them in per se. It's definitely what I use after the fact. So this one is obviously filled in with the pencil, right? And I mean, as you can tell, it looks good, it looks decent, but with any product, your hairs are gonna get lost. So what I like to use when I don't have brow gel is mascara. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. And the reason I like this one is because the brush on it, it's like a brush tip applicator. It's not as fluffy. The bristles are sort of hard, so it does do a good job of getting into each one of those hairs and kind of bringing them out back to life. So I'm going to show you that now on camera. Sometimes when you get a fresh one, you have to wipe off the wand. You don't want so much product to be applied on your brows. Remember, this mascara is just to put on your brows to have the hairs come back up and look alive. So now the eyebrow hairs look a little more realistic, and this is also good if you like to have the hairs in the front of your brows go in an upward direction. Using mascara is definitely going to be a good alternative for that. Now I am done. This brow is complete. I would definitely do this and be out the door because now I'm ready. I mean, as you can tell, like just putting the mascara on that brow really just, it gave it a little bit more depth and color, and it just makes it look a little more realistic as far as the hairs. Now let's go ahead and move over to this brow, and I'm going to show you guys how I use the pomade. It's going to be a similar technique to using the pencil. So here I have 2 different brow pomades. One is from LA Colors. This is from my Dollar Tree haul, which I did. I'll link it above. And the Salon Perfect is one I picked up at Walmart, and this is the one I have been using lately, and I really like it. The quality on this is excellent, and it can be compared to the higher end brow pomades. Hint, hint, Anastasia. So the reason I have these 2 is because I do want to point out the consistency and what you want to look for in your brow pomades. So let's start with the LA Colors. This is from the dollar store, so I really didn't have too much of an expectation, and you know, lo and behold, I was let down. But there are some good dollar store pomades out there. This one, however, was not. I'm going to show you guys why I wasn't too happy with it. You can't really tell too good on camera, but it is a little patchy and it's super light. That could have something to do with the color. But as far as the product, this is what I'm talking about. If you are swatching a pomade and it's coming out patchy, that is not one that you want, okay? Because that's going to also apply patchy on your brow hairs. And you have to think about it this way. You're applying a pomade, which is kind of like a paint, onto an area that has hair. So doing that, if it's coming out patchy on your skin, then it's definitely going to come out patchy on this area that has hair, because it's going to get stuck to the hairs and it's going to become a whole hot mess. So this is the Salon Perfect one. So do you see what I mean by the colors and the patchiness and the application? The Salon Perfect one is so much smoother, and look at the pigment in that. The pigmentation in this for $5 versus the one that's $1 from the dollar store, honestly, you can't beat it. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I apply that pomade onto my brows. So before I forget, I do want to mention this little beauty here. So anytime you have a pomade, whether it be from Anastasia, Elf, whoever, right? Sometimes they tend to dry out. And when they dry out, a lot of people like to throw them away, or they just don't use them anymore. But I'm here to tell you, no, keep them. This here, this is from Inglot. It's the Duraline liquid. This will bring your product back to life. Not only is it good for giving your dried out products life, I usually tend to use this for any glitter shadows that I want to make into like a full shadow, or pigment that I want to turn into a shadow that just glides on easily. This is going to be your trick. All right, you heard it here. Try it out. This product is definitely not a secret, but I feel like it's very underrated and not a lot of people really use it or know how to use it. So definitely explore it. This has been a lifesaver whenever I need to rehydrate any of my pomades, or play with any shadows that I want to turn into a liquid shadow. This is going to be your best bet. So using the ABH number 7 brush, I'm going to use the spoolie and just brush those hairs up the same way I went using the pencil. I'm going to first draw a line on the bottom of my brow. If you're in a rush, definitely the pencil is faster and easier to manage. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in and draw a line on the top. My line is now there. Yes, I like to go above my brow just because for me personally, I like the way thicker brows shape my face. In the past, I want to say like in middle school, I have had super thin brows, and Lord Jesus, why did anybody tell me? So for me, I like them a little thicker and a little darker. So now that I have that line on the top and bottom, I'm going to go in first and begin to brush out the bottom line. When I use the pencil, I usually go in and fill them in and then brush the line out. However, with this pomade, you are going to see that once you brush that line up, you won't need as much product as you did with the pencil. So as you can see, that product is a little lighter than my pencil application, and it has covered some areas so that I don't need as much product on this brow. So to go ahead and finish filling it in, I'm going to dip back into the pomade one more time. Once again, very light-handed, and I'm just going to be filling in those areas like here on top that need a little bit more color. So if you want at this point to go ahead and draw hair-like strokes at the front of your brow, go ahead and do that before we start to clean it up. So I'm going to just draw like a couple here in the front just to make it look, you know, like that Instagram brow that's pretty much in right now, but I don't tend to do this on a daily basis. This is just, like I said, for special occasion. So now I'm just going to go in and brush out that product that we just applied. So now, the same way we clean up our brow on the pencil side, it's the same way we're going to clean up our brow on the pomade side. Taking my flesh tone concealer, I'm going to start by outlining the bottom and then doing the top. I'm going to go in with my mascara once again and apply that. Like I said, you can either use mascara or a brow gel. And there you have it. Both my brows are now done. This one, remember, is done with the pomade, and this one is done with the pencil. Now they are the same color. Putting the mascara as the brow gel kind of neutralized it, so that helps it look a little more even. Am I the best at brows? No. My eyebrow routine tends to change every couple of months or every couple of years. Recently, I've seen people like shave off the ends of their eyebrow. That way it kind of just goes straight out instead of dipping down. It looks great, but I personally would not shave off half my eyebrow, only because You know how long it took me just to get eyebrows like this? Like, are you crazy? No. So, and you know, like I said, it's just personal preference. It's up to you. Ultimately, it comes down to what you prefer and how your face shape is. That's exactly the reason why there's no correct way on how to do your brows. Is there some things to be careful about and be aware of? Yes, such as the type of product, the quality, and how you're applying it. But other than that, as far as shape, that solely depends on the individual and what you prefer, what you like, and how your face is shaped. So do you. Don't let anybody judge you for what you do, because I've had people tell me,
oh my god, your brows are so thick. Why are they so dark?
Because they're my brows and I can do what I want with them. Hi. So keep doing you. As far as the next video for the face series, stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe to my channel down below. Join my bestie squad. Let's get to know one another. And hit the bell so that you're notified every time I post on Wednesdays. Thank you guys for joining me for Bestie Wednesday. See you guys on my next one.